This process took over 2 years. Not because I did anything crazy. I didn't knock down any walls. I didn't put up wallpaper or anything. It took this long just because of who I am as a person.
Comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said,
I was in my web doing nothing, and then this whore tried to vacuum me up.
Break it to you, but I ain't your daddy.
Bugatti. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, Bugatti. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, Bugatti. Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Bugatti. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, Bugatti. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, up to me. Girl comes up to me, Bugatti. Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Girl comes up to me and says, "Where'd you drive?" And I said, Bugatti.
All I do is, 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 all I do is.
was originally blank, there was nothing on it, and I wanted to make an art wall in the salon style. So all of my prints are in these hanging frames. I didn't want to purchase the usual frames and go through the process of trying to find one that was the right size and then having to place it in and all that stuff. So these are just an easy alternative. They're just magnetic, so
my frame is, you know, just great.
This print I have had for a long time now. My mum actually got this. She got a whole bunch of them at an art school, was doing a garage sale, and there was a whole bunch of them, and out of all of them I chose this one. I really love the style of surrealism. It also kind of goes with my love of like 90s jungle music. If you ever watch any of those mixes, they always have these kind of like surrealist turn of the 21st century, futuristic. So on the back, it's actually got all the information about the artwork, and so it was a way for students to imitate and recreate different styles and different genres of artwork. On the topic of art, I made this watercolor a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed making this, so I used watercolor paints and also some watercolor textures as well, and I think it turned out nice. Look, so I used to never like do any artwork in my adult life. Like when I was a kid, I did heaps of arts and craft. I loved it. It was just a fun hobby to have. But this was actually the first piece of art that I did as an adult, really. And let me tell you a little story about why I didn't paint for so long. I was in year 8 and I was in art class, and like I didn't think anything of what I was, you know, I think I was doing a painting at the time. It wasn't a thing of like I thought it was good, I thought it was bad, I was just enjoying doing it. And the art teacher comes over to me and she looks at my painting and she says, "So what are you good at?"
Fuck you, honestly, and go to hell.
I shit you not. So I think a lot of us fell into this as we grew up, that you kind of felt as if the outcome of what you were doing, of what you were creating wasn't perfect, then there was no point of doing it at all. And it's kind of more the anxiety of like, will it look good, blah 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 blah, that kind of stops you from even trying in the first place. And it shouldn't be like that. I just really enjoyed the process of making this, and I love having it on my wall, and you know, it's just something for me to enjoy. Yeah, not to like, here's the trauma of me trying to do hobbies but feeling like I can't do anything unless it's perfect. So having paralysis around doing anything. And this down here is a beautiful mobile that my late auntie made for my sister and I. She was an artist, so I feel very lucky to have that hanging in my room. So over here, I'll bring it closer so that you can see it better, is a pressed and dried baby's breath flower. I got this in Dublin. I was just lurking around. I was on exchange in Scotland and I was visiting Ireland. I kind of felt drawn to it, and coincidentally it turns out that my mum's wedding bouquet had a lot of baby breath in it, so I thought that was quite nice. This has a little story behind it. I went to see the Avalanches, which are one of my favorite bands ever. I used to listen to their album when I was little with my family, so I was very excited when they brought out a new album. They had taken some time off and they brought out Wildflower, which to this day is one of my favorite albums. So I didn't know anyone that was into avalanches at the time, so I went by myself to the concert, which is fine. Like, I've been to a few concerts by myself. I always come out being like, I'm glad that I went rather than stayed home and thought there's just some kind of like social expectation that you have to go with people to things, but it's often quite nice to just go by yourself to things. So I went to this concert and I got there rookie era. I got there before any of the supporting acts had started, but it was like past doors open. And so I was just standing there by myself. There was a few other people there, but it was like pretty empty. So I got a little bit anxious, and so I went into the toilets.
Now go in the bathroom and hide. Go and hide.
And just went into the cubicle and just stood there for like, I don't know how long it was, like 10-15 minutes. And then I went back. I had fun. It was a great concert. I'm really glad that I went to it. Standing on my tippy toes for this one. So this is actually the first vinyl that I ever got. This is Bip and L, and Bip is one of my favorite songs of Sophie's. And if you don't know who Sophie is, she unfortunately passed quite recently, which was very sad. And I actually made a little artwork, which I'll show you over there around the time that it happened, just to kind of like work through the kind of like sadness that I felt around it. So Bip is one of my favorite songs from Sophie, and it was one of the first songs that I heard from her. I think the first song that I heard was Lemonade, and I will always remember. So I think it was either 2014 or 2015. I was driving around with my friends. I decided to put on Lemonade because I thought, absolute banger. So I put it on, and one of my friends said, as it kind of started going, she was like, why does it sound like someone's pissing? So one of those things of sometimes don't show your friends your interests because you may get shut down. But no, Bip is one of my favorite songs. I remember, I think after Lemonade and Hey Cutie came out, I then saw her Boiler Room set. I think it was from 2014. And I saw it for the first time when I was in my college dorm room, and I'll always remember Bip, I think, is the first song that comes on. As soon as that drop started, just fell in love. Sophie and PC music and all the like PC music adjacent stuff, which is now called hyperpop. It was just like my uni years. Amazingly transcendent. Sophie was such a visionary in her production, and we're still seeing her impact to this day, and we'll continue to see it into the future. My much less cluttered bedside table. I've got a little basket for all of my like things that I use often, like hand cream and my claw clips and stuff. If you know, you know. If you had a parent who didn't believe in anxiety or medication, you may be familiar with this old one. And I've also got my Dosey, which I love. I upgraded to the double one, which is really good. Over here I've got my lamps. You can just alternate and swap them out. And over here we have my calendar. As you can see, I am booked and busy. In my room, I wanted it to be a sanctuary and place which was really calm. So I don't use this calendar for any kind of like appointments or like social stuff or anything like that. I didn't want that in my space, so I've just got the moon phases. Here is bedside table number 2. I've got this little basket that I just got from the op shop. I just fill it with stuff that I like have for in bed. Got some magnesium spray and lip balms, and up here I've got my agate slab. Here I have my diffuser. I just like how it is ceramic and it's just kind of understated. It's not anything big like the behemoth that I had before. And here is a little Banksia pod. Ooh, she's crusty dusty. It releases through its like pores and like little openings and stuff, just the smell of the oil. So it's just like a nice little subtle scent. And I've got my lamp, which was just kind of sitting around the house not being used, so I just utilized that. Over here I have got my rose quartz slab, and I've just got the abalone shell and a few sage sticks that I made with just rosemary from the garden, sage from the garden, stuff like that. And over here was a bit of dead space before. Because it's a corner, I needed one that didn't really care if it was in the shade. So I put this snake plant in there. And this is just a stand that was again sitting around the house, so I just utilized that. It was a little wonky donkey, so I really like them. They're plant stakes just from Target. So this double bed is just the same as the one that I had before in terms of the mattress. I did get a new bed frame, but I won't tell you where I got it from, not because I'm gatekeeping, but because it's really shit, so I wouldn't want you to get it. It literally sounds like, you know, a SoundCloud remix that has used the squeaky squeaky sample. Like, let me demonstration. Anyway, in conclusion, shit. But do you like the bedding? Crochet blanket. I wasn't sure whether to put this on just because it's so colorful. I usually go for a pretty like kind of minimal look in terms of colors. I'm usually not into a lot of colors, but as you'll see, it turned out I am into color. I thought this is, even for my colorful room, a bit too colorful, but I think that it draws in the two sides of my room really well. So you'll see on this side the coloring is quite different to this side. This side is more like pinks and yellows really, and then this side has more like reds and blues and that kind of stuff. So I thought that this actually pulls it all together quite well. My pillows, they are champagne colored pillows. No, they're not filthy white pillows, they're champagne. I think it goes nicely with my yellow bedspread and the other kind of yellow and light pine, sandalwood, and the light wood colors in the rest of my room. So these were pretty cheap. I got them on sale. You got 2 for $60, and the reason that they're cheap, they are 100% silk on this side, but on this side they're 100% cotton. I will try and link them below. This is probably my favorite part of my room. It's my cabinet, and it just is a little shelf or altar for some of my favorite things, and I think it's just nice and whimsical and whimsy, I think. So over here I have my little fairy lamp, just a cute little ambery brown color with this gorgeous little fairy that sits on a swing there. And I also use it to kind of put some of my jewelry on. It's probably from somewhere like 70s, 80s, 90s that's just been sitting around in the house, and I always liked it, so I thought it was very fitting for this kind of like, it's kind of got a lot of like green and like nature and stuff like that, so I thought that it was a good fit. I don't know if I could show that or whatever, but it is a cute little planter pot from Group Partner, is like the art group that it's from. I wanted one for ages, and my mum very kindly brought me back one from London when she visited, from Liberty, which by the way is my favorite store ever. Definitely can't afford things in there at all, but you know, one day. And it's just sitting on this little agate slab. This is a candlestick holder that I got just from the op shop. I got this little candle holder from New Zealand when I was there, and this candlestick is from the op shop as well. It's originally from Portugal. It just fits in with the colors so well of the yellows and the greens and the kind of like naturey aspect of this area. And this is, I have a couple books here. So this is Greco Disco by Luke Edward Hall. So it's just an art book, which I wanted for ages because I love his artwork. So I think that the colors go really well in there, so I thought instead of having it on a bookshelf, I would display it because it's obviously got gorgeous cover art as well. And at the back here, there's also another book which I'll show you, which I got from the op shop, which I thought was pretty cute with just the coloring and stuff like that. And here I have, so this in the middle here is actually picked up from the beach. And I think it's just gorgeous. It really reminds me of those ancient Venus figurines, and I have a degree in ancient history. Ancient artwork was my favorite part. And over here I have my Love Star vase. This is the original one that I got, and I got the whole thing for $30, including the stand. I got it from Gumtree, and it has a few scratches, but you honestly can't see it once it's full. It was such a bargain because usually with the stand it's like $90, and it's just filled with lots of flowers that I picked from outside. Over here I have a incense holder. It's this nice undulated kind of texture, and I've got an orange calcite, a peach selenite, a selenite. This is angel aura quartz, clear quartz, another clear quartz point, and also serpentine, which, did you know serpentine has asbestos in it?
I'm getting nervous.
Over here we have my vase of dried flowers. Now this vase is also from the op shop, which by the way is like a thrift shop in Australia. So my mum volunteers for an op shop, and I'm always in there looking around, and I saw this and thought it was really nice. I thought it was like a vintage kind of like 60s 70s vase, but turns out on the bottom it says made in China. So it's not as vintage as I thought, but I think it's really nice, and obviously the colors go well. A lady at the op shop that my mum works with said, you know, after I took home this vase, she's like, where did that ugly vase go? And yeah, it's here, babes. I took it home, and I don't think it's ugly. I think it's gorgeous. And so I've also got some dried flowers. Just makes it so easy. Got like some wheat. I think these are called like bunny tails. Got some billy buttons. I've got a fake pampas grass, blue eucalyptus, and these over here are felt. So I got these in New Zealand. So a little billy button and some little like stems. And over here is my Streets poster. So I actually got this from the op shop. The Streets is another band that I have listened to with my family since I was little. So this is from when the Australian tour for Original Pirate Material. It is 75 of 100, so I thought that was cool.
Do you believe in the healing power of crystals?
I surely don't.
Mama, that's a rock.
Here's the thing, what I do believe in is the healing power of a lovely environment to affect your mood.
In this little corner, I've got some more crystals. I have them in this shell bowl that I also got from the op shop. So it's just that nice kind of brown glass that goes well with the room. I've had this monstera for quite a while. It actually needs to be repotted. And then I've got more of these cute felt billy buttons, and I've got this little stool down here that I use as a footrest, and I've had this stool for quite a while. So here I am in my cute little reading nook area. So if you hear that screaming, it's just a cocky, which coincidentally I also have one here. I also had this in my dorm rooms. So it's come all the way with me. I think it fits in well with the colour scheme, pink and yellow. And I also have this one, which was just not being used around the house. It was just in a cupboard. So I think this also goes well with the neutral colours that I have. And this chair was also not being utilised. I really wanted a chair just to like chill out in, to read, and I also sometimes use this space to do some work, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to fit a chair and all this other stuff, honestly, but I was able to. Having more things in the room actually made the room feel bigger, which is really strange. So I'm really happy with how my room turned out. It's a real safe space, a real sanctuary for me. Love to bring the outside in, but keep it as a space where I can just come and decompress. And I feel really lucky to have a space where I feel safe and comforted, because for a while I didn't have that. So I actually wrote this when I was living in a space where I didn't feel safe. Yeah, I just feel very lucky to have this space, a room of one's own, just to chill out in and relax, because it's my favorite thing to do. So I really hope you enjoyed having a little look at my room and the process. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that, and I will see you next time.